my imperfections. Examination goes both ways. Since you checking, I've been grinding from the bottom, grinding till I reach the top. Chastisement is equal to pressure. I ain't gonna never stop.
Shalom, Most High in Christ bless Israel. So today's topic, I want to go over marriage. The subject matter is marriage. Class title is Marriage in Time. So quick introduction. I've been working on this class mentally since like men's conference. Had a conversation with brothers. It was a hilarious, great conversation with these brothers about marriage issues that they had, and proving stage. And what I saw in this encounter was the expectation of marriage for some people are still based on relationships that they may have had in the world. And when you come into this truth, you're a new creature. So the expectation of what marriage is has multiplied. It's a different standard. I'll say that. The standard of what a relationship is in this body is different, and it has to be proven with this standard and not the standard that you had when you were in the world. So I want to start off with the biblical expectation of what we should be looking for when we are married. Start me off in Sirach chapter 6 and verse 6. Excuse me, my allergies or something. The weather is changing here in Oklahoma, so my nose has been itching for the last 3-4 days. It's been crazy. It itches. Man, go ahead.
This is Sirach chapter 6, verse 6.
Uh-huh.
Be in peace with many.
Uh-huh.
Nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000.
So when you're married, you're in an infantile state of building a relationship. You're going to have to examine other people's marriages to see what to do, what not to do, who to align yourself with, and who not to align yourself with. And that's where you get this one counselor to where they're going to help build you and your wife up in marriage to see the mistakes, see what they're doing wrong, and actually take their advice so your marriage grow and you don't purposely destroy it. Read.
Verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
And that goes into getting the counselor and the person that you chose to marry, because to popular belief or unpopular belief, y'all's proving stage wasn't really the proving stage. You don't really know the person until after the marriage, and it starts to set in that 1 to 3 years. Read.
For some man is a friend for his own occasion.
So now this is what you're proving. Do you love me? Do you love the Lord? Are you going to be committed to this relationship just like we're committed to the covenant that we have with Christ? Read.
And will not abide in the day of thy trouble.
And that's what I've seen in different marriages. Struggles what happen. One person will grow and the other one won't. And then the other person that wouldn't grow starts to grow, and then that person that was growing stops and goes down on the decline. And now y'all have this clash to where you want to leave the marriage, to where it's not working. Read.
And there is a friend who being turned to enmity.
Now you have this friend that you live with that is your enemy. Read.
And strife will discover thy reproach.
Read.
Again, some friend is a companion at the table.
It was all good when y'all was proving. You had your stuff together. You had stability at that time. But your marriage is going to get battle tested. Read.
And will not continue in the day of thy affliction.
Let you lose your rank. Let you lose your job. Let you take some type of pay cut or not be the person that you were when you first were proving or when the marriage started. Let's see how strong your marriage is. Read.
But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself.
And then you have people just like this. When you were good, when everything was all good, things were good. You were the best person that they could have ever. God sent you to me. Read.
And will be bold over thy servants.
Read.
If thou be brought low, he will be against thee.
This is where the battle test really shows who your spouse is. When things get hard, when things is rough in your life or in your lives together. Read.
And will hide himself from thy face.
Won't help you. Read.
Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends.
Read.
A faithful friend is as a strong defense.
So a faithful friend is a strong defense. And that's what a husband and wife need to develop within themselves, is that faithful friendship to be a strong defense. Because I'm hearing rumors, when you turn 40, everything changes. And I'm talking about from a man's perspective. It changes for a woman too. But from a man's perspective, I hear things start to change. You wake up and your knees just don't work for no reason. Things like that. You're going to need help. Some people get sick. You're going to need a companion to help you. I remember my back went out. We was doing Juneteenth here in Oklahoma. We were hosting. And my back went out. As soon as the event started, it was just little pains, but it actually went out. My kids had to help me take my socks off. My wife had to help do things around the house because I couldn't even leave the bed. Imagine if she was a different type of wife, different type of kids. They wouldn't have helped me. Ew, I don't like feet. I'm not helping you take your socks off. What if you had a spouse like that? The people that you produce don't want to help you. Here it is, you pay the bills, you make sure they're fed. They have everything that they need. But as soon as you down, the same people that's supposed to be your friend, your defense in your home, be like, nah, I can't. That's where I draw the line. People's marriages get like that. And I'm touching the soft sides of the problems in marriage. But it gets worse. And I'm talking about sinfully worse. What verse you at?
Verse 14.
Read it again.
A faithful friend is a strong defense.
Uh-huh.
And he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure.
Because there's nothing better than having somebody that's going to defend you. Whether you're strong, weak, sick, or anything, that friend is going to be there no matter what. And in your wrongness, they're still going to be there to help make sure that you don't destroy yourself. Captain Paulus say this all the time. The wife is the first defense for a husband. Because when you start to bugging out, you tripping, you in your depression, you lost your job, she's supposed to be that one to be like, hey, listen, we got this. We gonna be all right. We've been down before, to help pick you up. Read.
Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend.
Uh-huh.
And his excellency is invaluable.
Hey, you said that like a true Northern Kingdom. Read.
Verse 16. A faithful friend is the medicine of life.
That's why I was talking about whether you're strong, weak, or sick, because a faithful friend is medicine in life. They're going to help you fight those demons. They're going to boost that confidence in you so you can continue to fight like medicine does the body. Read.
And they that fear the Lord shall find him.
So if you're keeping God's commandments, you're seeking the counsel to better yourself, God is going to fight for you. He's going to help you find that friend. Read.
Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright.
So what it's saying is, to the man, you are going to be a leader. If you fear God, you're going to be that leader to help mold your wife. Not even help, to mold your wife. That's what you're going to do. And it's going to strengthen that bond between you and your wife. Read.
For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also.
That's a heavy point. It says, as you are, so is your neighbor. So in the context of marriage, this is your wife. These are your kids. Just like you think, they're going to think. The mistakes that you make, they're going to make against you and themselves. So you better fear God and take counsel when it's given to you. And I can't stress that enough about taking and finding counsel to make yourself better. A lot of people run. I know it be some things you like, nah, I can't do that. I don't know how to perform that. You got to, because if you don't, you're going to run the risk of directing your friendship into the ground. Read.
My son, gather instruction from thy youth up.
Jump to 18.
Verse 18. My son, gather instruction.
My bad. Chapter 7.
Oh, chapter 7. Sir.
Yeah, I just read the verse and it's me, it's not you.
Sirach, chapter 7, verse 18.
Change
not a friend for any good by no means. Neither.
And I saw this and I'm like, that's heavy because we have childhood friends. We grow up and those are like our friends. But we don't consider the wife as a friend. Like we didn't come up with this, like a lot of times we don't come up with the women that we marry. We meet them later on in life. But she is considered a friend, more than a friend. And it says, change not a friend for any good by no means. You're supposed to stay with this one person. You're not supposed to seek to divorce, to find another husband, to find another wife. It was never like that in the beginning, and Christ came and corrected that very same thing. Y'all trying to switch up. Sirach is saying the same thing. There's no such thing as divorce. So if there's no such thing as divorce, your only solution is I can't say the word. Reconciliation. There you go. Read.
Neither a faithful brother for the gold of Ophir.
Read.
Forgo not a wise and good woman. For her grace is above gold.
Having a good wife is above riches. Together, y'all can do great things if you take the counsel, if you work to improve each other. Take the counsel. Send her to get counsel. She has to see examples of righteous sisters, good sisters, healthy, stable relationships within the body, instead of just sitting in front of the TV and TikTok. Jump to chapter 12 and verse 8.
Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 8. A friend cannot be known in prosperity.
Because when you're proven again, you're giving your best representation of yourself. They can't see what you do at the house. They can't see your habits. They can't see the disgusting things that you do that's perfectly normal, but irritating. They can't see that. You can put all those things to the side in the proving stages, but when y'all live together now, all your habits, your customs, how you do things, it's all visible now. You know each other better than that best friend that you grew up with. Your secrets is out for one another. Read.
And an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity.
So when things is bad, that's where all your business get exposed. He do this, she do that. It irks me when they do this. He don't ever do this. I can't never do this. And this, all your business be getting exposed in these counsels, or the sister or brother friend that you air all your business out to. And Israel, this isn't a small place. Your information goes from person to person to person to person. Somebody might overhear it. There's no secrets in Israel. One way or another, things get out. People know things. Whether it's in this city, this state, this country, Israel can't hold water. Just know that they may not know all the details, or they may not know it's you, but you've been exposed. Your secrets, your bad habits have been told from one place to another. Read.
In the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved. But in his adversity, even a friend will depart.
Go back to chapter 7 and 26.
Sirach chapter 7 and verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind?
So that's the question. Do you actually have a wife after your mind? The answer is yes. Most of the time you do. The same evils that you do, she do it to you, and it makes you mad that she won't listen to you, but she is. She's watching what you do, and she does it to you, and it irks your nerves. But then when the brother over you tells you to do something, you act just like your wife. She does have a mind after you. Or you have actually taken counsel, listened to leadership, and you're a good subordinate to the men over you, the leaders over you, and she follows the leader as the example that you set. So she will have a mind after you. And every lesson that you teach her, she's going to use it. Read.
Forsake her not.
The Bible says don't forsake her. You got to fix, whether you messed up, you got to be the one to take accountability. There's no leaving unless there was fornication. That's the only part of divorce, and death. Those are the only conditions of leaving. Read.
But give not thyself over to a light woman.
And that's what some brothers do in that proving stage. They give themselves over to a dumb woman that refuses to have a mind like you. Whether you do right or wrong, she gonna do whatever she wanna do. So we're gonna switch gears. Give me that first video. First video of the disconnect. This is an example of a light woman. Here it is. This man is giving logical advice and steps on how they can agree together. But she's so conditioned to the world, she can't hear the logic in what he's saying. And this is a telltale sign that she's not ready to be a wife. She's going to be an independent single mom. And I'm not even going off by the way that she dresses, because they're in the world. It's her mentality. She's not ready to be in a relationship. She's not ready to be a wife. And some men will give themselves over to a woman like that, or they'll convince themselves, listen, you don't understand now, but we can make it work. No, this is a red flag, and she's spiritually, mentally not ready to be a wife. Leave her alone. Play.
Myself every day. It's about doing things you don't want to do for the person that you love and you mess with.
That's childish.
Well, see, I think that's the disconnect, because the woman doesn't come to the man and I get on your program. As a woman,
I don't need to get on your program either.
See, but that's what I'm saying. So that's kind of why I pop, because I can't lead. You're gonna be doing the leading. You know what I'm saying?
I'm leading myself though.
But how are you in a relationship and you're leading yourself?
Because we got two separate lives at the end of the day. My mama birthed me and your mama birthed you.
Right.
So I grew up a different type of way than you. So I'm going to carry myself different than you at the end of the day.
But when we come together, it's no more you or me. It's our. You know, it's our. It's not you. And I think that's
you still go to your job and I still go to my job though.
See, but they take care of both of the bills for our lights to be on.
Yeah, I mean, your job.
I'm saying in an aspect of like if we were together, you know what I'm saying? Like
if we was together, your
you go to
job was
work,
taking care of the bills.
You go to work, I go to work, but our money.
But what if I'm getting more money?
Still our money. And if you think that it's your money, then that's where the disconnect is.
That's a disconnect for sure.
Well, cool. The relationship is about.
So, watching that, she said some pretty things that she just says that she never had a father in the house. And if she did, her mother took care of everything. She went through a generation where the women always ruled, and that's the mentality that she's going to stay in. And I bring that example because some men have married women like that to where they still think in that childish mentality to where mine is mine, yours is mine, and these are my kids. These are my possessions. No grown man thinks like that. When he sets his mind to have a family, everything is ours. Everything is what we are going to do. But again, men will give themselves to a woman that thinks like this. You can't build with a woman that think like that. When everything is that she takes in is hers, but everything I take in is building for us. The house will crumble. You will find different parts in that relationship to where she would always pull back. And he would always have to make a decision to keep it together, and she would pull everything back. Read Titus chapter 2. Start at verse 1.
Titus chapter 2, verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. The aged woman likewise.
So, the aged man has to have his stuff together in this manner, and he has to attach himself to men like that. He has to see men that take care of their family in this same mentality. This is what the world calls emotional intelligence. That's what the Bible is giving us, that we have to be sound in faith. What we say is what we're going to do, and have faith in God that he's going to protect us, that he's going to do his part in what he promised. I've never seen God lie. He's always made good on his word. So in that, we got to be the same type of men to the men around us, because our marriages are the backbone of a society. It's fueling the next generation on what they should do and shouldn't do. And when they see stuff like that, the cycle just continues. So now it gets to the aged woman that she got to have the same type of mind, the same type of intelligence emotionally as the man. Read.
The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given too much wine, teachers of good things.
So they gotta have this mind. And if they don't have it, they need to find a sister that has this mind so they can mature to this type of woman, so they know how to be a wife, know how to be a mother, a sister to other sisters. Read.
That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home.
This is what a wife has to learn to be a wife. And in the first to 3 years, this is what you're learning, because some sisters, I'll bring it from a congregational stance. Some sisters came up in this truth single, and they've been trained to cater to the body or to leadership. They have specific offices to where they're under the authority of men, to where the man, hey, listen, this is what you do in this office, and she does it specifically to that office. Now, in your mind, the woman should be thinking, okay, this is how you adapt to following orders from men. They can do it at work, but for a black man, they won't, which is crazy. But now you have a husband. What you learn from this man and this man, it applies, but you have to apply it specifically to the man that's telling you. Because what sisters will do within this 1 to 3 years, they'll be like, well, officer such and such said do it like this. I'm your Lord. I'm your husband. I'm your leader. I've been assigned to you in life. The rest of your life, I'm your leader. I don't care what officer such and such like. I like it like this. Do it like this. Guess what's going to happen with the wife? I'm telling the leader that I'm used to, because I've been under his service for this amount of years, and he's never failed to do this. Well, go live with him. If that's your leader, why didn't you marry him? And saying stuff like that is going to lead to a bigger argument. Emotions are going to boil up, and either you're not going to get no sex, you're not going to be properly fed. Things of that nature is going to start happening in this relationship, because now there's pushback because you gave a simple order and you said some harsh things that she don't like, that she's not used to, and now there's conflict in the house. Go to Proverbs chapter 12.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 3. A man shall not be established by wickedness.
Okay. That I'm reading. Okay. Because I
But-
wanted to get both sides. All right. Start over. 12 and 3.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 3. A man shall be established by wickedness.
So a man shall not be established by wickedness. At this point, now you have some pushback. You can't do any evil. You have to stay blameless. What you said is what you said. Stand on it. And she got to accept it. And if you stand on it, it's now what she's going to do. Because if you do anything wicked, you're going to set the tone of how she's going to be. And you're going to have to eat the fruits of your labor for years to come. She's always going to throw this up. And if you don't stand on business right now, she's going to run over you. Let you do any wickedness at this point to where she's already emotionally unstable when you told her something logical. This is Eve's daughter. Never forget that these are Eve's daughters. Read.
But the root of righteous shall not be moved.
So if you stay a righteous man and you don't commit any evil within this relationship against her or yourself and God, your marriage is going to be all right within these 1 to 3 years. You've already set the tone with just this argument, because I've heard this argument many times. I've had this same argument myself where leadership said, I'm not leadership. This ain't the congregation. I am the leader of this house. Set the tone early, and she got to understand it. She understood it when she was in that office. She understood it when she was at work. She understood it when other sisters was over her. Why can't you understand it? Because I'm telling you, I am the supreme leader, Lord of the house. I am Christ to you. You have to obey me in all things. Read.
Verse 4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband.
But if she get it, I'm telling you, you're going to sail through these 1 to 3 years. Not saying that your marriage won't be battle tested within these 3 years, but the tone is set. She's learning how to be virtuous, because she could have said some things and she didn't. She humbled down and obeyed. You got to watch for these things. Okay, I see you. I see you. You listening to your counselor. You listening to me. You paying attention to class. You good, sis? I'm going to keep it right here. Because later on, you're going to see the fruits of your labors coming out in how virtuous you are. Read.
But she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones.
This is where you start to see that man chest sink. When they was proving, my man was right, yeah, I'm about to get married. I'm about to, that sister right there, we just got betrothed. Yeah, her right there, stand up, sis. Yeah, everybody clapping, happy for you, we betrothed. 3 months in, his chest sunken down like this. He eating Hungry Man dinners and Lunchables. There was one brother eating Cheerios. Read. It wasn't even no milk. He just had a bag of Cheerios. Read.
The thoughts of the...
Oh, that was it. Tobit. 8. Tobit 8 started 4. And verse 4 through 7 is what I want.
Tobit, chapter 8, verse 4. And after that, they were both shut in together. Tobias rose out of the bed and said, Sister, arise, and let us pray that God will have pity on us. Then began Tobias to say, Blessed art thou, O God of our fathers, and blessed is thy holy and glorious name forever. Let the heavens bless thee and all thy creatures. Thou madest Adam and gavest him Eve, his wife, for an helper and stay.
So these are the roles. Adam was the first man, and he was a God on this earth. And then he made Eve for Adam to be a help. That is our assigned roles. That's our position. The man is the leader, the protector, the provider, and the woman is the help for everything that's within his power. She helps him. And brothers and sisters got to learn that role. You are the leader. Directives come from you, and she follows the order. It's not the other way around. She helps with the orders that you give. It's your program. Give me the next video. A real man will not be ruled.
I had an older lady tell me a real man is not going to be ruled by a woman. Don't go down the path of expressing criticism, disapproval, and an ultimate lack of acceptance for your husband because it may cause rebellion. She's telling the truth. A real man is not going to allow himself to be a pushover to the woman he has chosen. Men with their sense of manhood and integrity and dignity intact have this innate desire and need to not be subdued and walked over. A real man is not going to be ruled by his wife. It insults his sense of manhood. Women who have succeeded in breaking their husbands such that their husbands allow their wives to rule over them, those are ultimately men who they find themselves no longer attracted to. I had an older lady.
So she said that when this continues on, that a man doesn't keep his testicular fortitude. I said it. The attraction in her goes away. Guess what happens in that attraction? She's going to start searching for something or someone that fulfills that attraction. We have to stay on point. Finish reading.
Thou madest Adam and gavest him Eve, his wife, for an helper and stay. Of them came mankind. Thou hast said, it is not good that man should be alone.
Yep.
Let us make unto him an aid like unto himself.
Right.
And now, O Lord, I take not this, my sister, for lust.
And that's what some people do. It may not just be sexual lust. It's the things of the world that we find our attraction. So another thing coming from that conversation, the brother said, what's the word? Compatibility. Brother was looking for what sound like a worldly sense of compatibility, and that's not the standard of the Bible. Sure, we all want the sister that looks good, the best, and has certain things about her that's agreeable within the relationship as far as like going out, dating, living standards, things of that nature. That's fine. But the compatibility of the Bible is, do you love me and God? And are you going to follow that love according to the guidelines that's written in this Bible? That's the primary and first compatibility that we're looking for, because anybody can adapt. You can adapt to anybody to where you like what they like. It just takes time. I know there's things that my wife do, and I'm like, why do you do that? But I like it. And it happens like that. So I'm not so much worried about what's your favorite color, what you like to eat. None of that really matters, because going day to day, neither one of y'all know what y'all want to eat. Y'all just making stuff up. You know, let's tacos this day, lasagna the next day. Y'all making stuff up as you go. That's not compatibility. That's survival. We want the compatibility of how you're going to keep the commandments. How well are you going to be obedient to the laws, statutes, and judgments of God? I can't have you getting weak in faith. I can't have you making me look weak or be weak in this fight, in this truth. Because you'll see sisters, when it's time to go to war, why you gotta go out of town again? I thought y'all just did a men's conference. It's another blitz. That's going to taint your spirit. It's going to make you spiritually weak. It's going to make you lack faith. And if you lack faith in these scriptures, you're going to lack faith in your natural day of living, to where you don't have the motivation to go to work. You won't have the motivation to do your manly duties, to where you find yourself not wanting to come to the school. All of a sudden, you're getting sick now. This is where stuff like this starts to set in these 1 to 3 years. You still in 7?
Yes, sir.
Read.
And now, O Lord, I take not this my sister for lust, but uprightly. Therefore, mercifully ordain that we may become aged together.
That's the goal. It's through all of that tribulation that a marriage goes through. The goal is that y'all become aged together. That's in happiness and joyness. Jump to Proverbs 14 and 1. And the next videos I want are the habits.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house.
So this is going into your side of being aged together and being an aid as you age together. There's going to be things that men just do because we just do it, and it's irritating or disgusting. I ain't gonna leave that part out. And I ain't just talking, I ain't talking about sinful people. This ain't the class for you brothers and sisters that just commit whoredoms and sin. This is just normal problems that a marriage may go through, whether it's finances, losses of jobs, maintenance of the house, duties, things of that nature, because these are the primary things that escalate to now you want to sin. Read.
But the foolish plucketh it down with her hands.
I've heard arguments. I've seen relationships go through turmoil because of simple habits that they can't get over. Play this next video.
As soon as I say it, I do. Here come that scar. That joint stay on. I remember I went to her job just to take her to lunch, you know what I mean? Just to surprise my wife. Walk right past her. I hear this voice, excuse me. Oh, hey, baby, you know a woman? It's me. Oh, my God. You are beautiful. I ain't never see it. Oh, your outdoor face is gorgeous. Oh, I came up. I ain't seen my wife's real hair since the wedding, you know? I want to see that on a Law and Order episode, you know what I mean? Where the husband come down to identify the body, you know. Police are like, sorry for your loss. Can I see her? Yeah, she's in that room right there. Hold on, man. Who's that? I don't know who that is. What's that? That's Kim Jeffries, 5555 Main. Yeah, that's my address. That's my wife's name, but I don't know who that is right there. This some kind of joke? Well, let me see if I can sort it. Hold on, bro. Put the scarf on her head for me. Yeah, just tie it around the ears right there and do a knot on the top.
All right. Read that again.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house.
So, beauty standards. He said, in the beginning it says, as soon as they got married, the beauty standard went away. She got this bonnet on and that's all she wears. Believe it or not, this happened in men and women, to where you get comfortable to where the only time you look nice is to go to work or go out with other sisters. You putting on that same show like everything is good. But when it comes to the husband, he get the ragamuffin looking wife. Even the brother, he stopped cutting his hair. He out of shape. He don't do nothing for himself. He starts to look like the bummy brother, like he ain't, like when he was trying to get you, you never seen his edge up off. You never seen him looking straggly. He always had the best looking clothes. He was never wrinkled. But now that he got you or she got you, don't comb the hair. It's always tied up in a bonnet or something. He never get to see you beautiful anymore. That desire goes away. And guess what sets in? Lust, other desires outside of the house, and let this go on past the 3 years, sin is going to take hold of your household. And it was both of y'all fault because y'all left the beauty standard. It got me when he went to work. It's like, dang, you're beautiful. I don't get to see you like it's at home. That's a problem, sis. It's a problem to where you look the way that you look at home. And when I see stuff like that, like we come here on the Sabbath, you can't really hide stuff like that from me. I see it and don't say nothing. Because if you haven't made it my business, it's not my business. Talk to your counselor. It's a few people that I'll be like, hey, listen, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What happened? Some situations I know, and I'm just waiting for you to fix it. You already have the solution. You already talked to the counselor, and it's just a wait for you to fix it. Brothers and sisters be coming off in here with different spirits, and I be scanning the room. I know y'all be seeing me in here. I be looking from left to right. Yep. Oh, I see his son. Where is he at? I see his wife here. Where is he at? Oh, she's gone. But the kids are here. Oh, she not taking notes. This is like third, fourth time this week. Yep, she just holding somebody baby in class. That's her every single week. All right. I'm just giving y'all my thoughts when I sit up at the table or I'm walking around the school. I'm scanning spirits. I'm looking at faces, seeing what changed and what hadn't changed in people. Because certain people ask for marriage or they ask for things, but you doing the same thing as to why you're not married or your marriage hasn't grown. You've already gotten the counsel, and you're still doing the wrong thing, not taking advice. I'm looking at your character. Give me the next one.
Where they just leave a cup right by the sink. And I would think things to myself like, this is weaponized incompetence. He's doing this on purpose to make me clean up after him. He's not putting it in the dishwasher. He's not putting it in the sink. It's like a declaration that he can do whatever he wants, and I just have to deal with it. It's sick. He's so torturous to me. And then there was one day that I was just at home kind of cleaning up some things by myself, and I drank the last of my water, and I just kind of in my head placed it down, and I was like, I'm just going to put it here because it's kind of like, you know, if I'm done with it, it's right next to the dishwasher. I can put it there. And if I'm not done with it, it's right next to the sink so I can get more water.
Yes.
And that was when I realized my husband is not out to get me. He's just a genius. It's very different things.
Hold right there. Read the scripture again.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands.
The foolish part of it is she sincerely made it up in her mind that her husband hated her. And I'm going to just say it straight like that because that's what women, that's what the mind goes to. He hates me. He won't clean up after himself. Listen, I do the exact same thing. I sit it right next to the refrigerator because I'm not done with the cup. Now, if you just so happen to do dishes and you take the cup, that means I'm getting a new cup. But I'm not doing this so you have to pick up after me. It's not a malicious thing, but women will take this to the nature of this is malicious. I can't take this. I have other things to do, and I have to clean up after him like I'm his mother, like he's a child. And it wasn't malicious. And when she sat there and thought about it, she did the same thing. This is a woman that's after his same mind, and it took her to actually do it for it to click like, dang. He wasn't out to get me. It was nothing intentional. He did something for himself, and it was a message. I got another story. So I drink tea often. I maybe go through I may drink tea like 2 to 3 times per day. So the spoon that I use to stir the honey into my tea, I want to keep it. There's a signal in my house. Y'all gonna laugh at me when I tell the whole story. So, and I ain't even to this part of class, but it goes. So, I'll make my tea. I stir it up. I rinse the spoon back off, and I flip it upside down to where the spoon sits like this on the towel where the dish is dry. I sit it on the towel, not in the rack, but on the towel. That's a signal to the entire house. This spoon is 1, clean. This is my teaspoon. And 3, don't touch it. When I come back, guess where the spoon is at? Completely gone, and I can't find it. So I have to go into the drawer and get a new spoon. I'm furious. So I had guests at the house at this time. So I'm telling the guests there, like, this is what happens to me. I let them universally know by flipping this spoon over that this isn't a regular spoon. This is my spoon for my tea. Don't touch it. You know what happens to it? They wash it, the kids and my wife. So my wife hears me telling this to the guests, and she says, I know it. But you know what I do? I take the spoon and I wash it and put it up on purpose. Because she know that it makes me mad, but it's a joke. So I'm not mad. Because that's the relationship me and my wife have. We have fun. That's what we do to each other. We joke. And it keeps the relationship interesting. But if I was thinking like she was thinking, it'd have been a whole argument. Or if my wife thinks that way, it'd have been a whole argument because I do things to her too. Give me the next one on habits. This is the other little thing that turns into big things where I was talking about the compatibility. On eating. We don't really know when we want to eat what we want to eat sometimes, and sometimes it's just like, you know what? I got a taste for this. I'm finna go get it. You want anything? No, I'm gone. But this is what wives would do, and it's aggravating on both sides because the woman wants you to just naturally think of her, and men don't think about that. I'm going to the store. If you don't tell me that you want something from the store, I went to the store and got what I wanted, and I came back home. Why didn't you ask me? I said I was going to the store. That was me asking. That was it. You missed it. What are you mad for? You knew I was going. You could have called on my way, but you waited until I got back and opened up what I had, and now you got your hand out. No, you can't have this. I asked you. I don't want to share. Share everything with you people. Play the video.
I said I was going to get you a mac and cheese. You said what?
I'm okay.
What does that mean?
I said I didn't want any.
Okay. And now I'm home and I'm eating my mac and cheese. And what did you say?
Can I just have a little taste? I don't want the whole thing. I just want a little bit.
What do I do in this situation?
He said, what do I do? Not that difficult. It's just a little taste. I didn't want a whole mac and cheese.
Did you also ask me if I got you fries?
Yes.
This is after you said you're okay.
Yeah, but I always want fries. So I figured I didn't have to say that. Because I always want fries.
Okay.
Always.
Okay. Would you have eaten the mac and cheese if I brought it home anyway?
Yes.
Here, take a little.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
These little things over time, and it's not just this scenario. This scenario plays out in a lot of things. Like I remember the old thing to where the man will get dressed according to the weather. The woman will get dressed according to how she feels. And now the place that y'all go or the weather makes the change that the man thought might happen, and he prepared himself. Now the woman looking like, you didn't bring a coat for me? No, you a grown-up. You got dressed. You saw me grab my jacket, and you didn't choose to grab a jacket. Now you want me to lose my jacket for you? No. You got to stand on business with some of these things. You got to take accountability for your thought process. But what a man does is he makes decisions because he knows how his house operates. So he's the overall protector to make sure that that balance is met. And a situation like that could potentially be a big argument, or it could be just something that you wink at ignorance, or it could just be that one thing that says, this is why I don't let you make decisions. It could make that explosive argument of, you do this every single time. It's not this situation. This is just the catalyst. This is just an example of what I've been trying to explain to you is you don't clearly communicate. You don't clearly communicate what you want, and it's aggravating. You make big decisions not communicating properly. And this is where the wife has to take that accountability of, you are the reason why we are where we're at. Because every time I make a decision, you pull my legs from underneath me, and I have to start all over again. I have to make decisions based off of your lack of or your decision making. Get me the next one, struggles. Let me explain this first. Apparently a young couple, don't know if they're together or not, but it's a challenge. And the man is saying a certain amount of things this is going on compatibility. Here it is, you have the woman has a very different lifestyle, and the appearance of it seems like she had a 2-parent home. On the other side, the guy, he looks like he was the leader of his house as a child in a single-parent home, and now they're combining their lives together, and you can only imagine the struggles that they're going to have because of the differences of lifestyle that they were in. The woman, spoiled, entitled. Him, he had to survive. So his form of life is probably going to be a survival type of lifestyle versus hers is dependent, spoiled, no accountability because she hasn't had to take on certain types of responsibilities. Now, this could work if they stay in their respective roles, but there's a potential issue in it because of the differences. Play.
If both of your parents are still married,
so yeah,
take 2 steps forward if you grew up with a father figure in the home. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a private education. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a free tutor growing up. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to worry about your cell phone being shut off. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to help mom or dad with the bills. Take 2 steps forward if it wasn't because of your athletic ability, you don't have to pay for college. Take 2 steps forward if you never wondered where your next meal was going to come from. 2 steps
so it's
forward.
right there, but you seen her like pull forward. She never had to worry. He never took a step forward. So you see the entitlement that our women will have because she had 2 parents and they're still married. She sees what marriage is supposed to look like. And depending on that, the dad may have ruled the house. He may have been the breadwinner and she took care of the household. We don't know from the video, but she had a level of stability that he didn't. So I seen her look back at him, and society would tell her that she's better than him, that she got more things going on than he do. He never took a step forward. So with that type of mentality that he has, we can only imagine what type of job that he has, what type of stability he has for himself and his family, because she went to college. We can't tell if he went to college or not because he's had to work and take care of a family that was supposed to take care of him. Just a mother, no father, and he's paying bills at a young age, and they don't even look like they above 20 together. So imagine what type of marriage to where she's the breadwinner, or she's the prize in the relationship according to society. But what society is missing is his hardships built him into a man that he had to be at a young age. So he has the experience of taking care of a family. He has the knowledge of taking care of a family, and he has and I'm just saying characteristics that build up into a guy like that. He has a father and a husband instinct because he had to be his mama's husband and father in the house. But imagine the type of arguments that they're going to have because of her stability. Well, my daddy did it like this. So she can always go to daddy when he ain't got it. That's going to cause problems. Sirach 4:27. And we're still in the 1 to 3 year process of this marriage. Sirach 4:27.
Sirach chapter 4 and verse 27. Make not thyself an underling to a foolish man.
So don't make yourself a student or an understudy to someone that's foolish, that don't have the experience of marriage, the success of marriage, to help you navigate through these problems, these habits, because there's elder brothers and elder sisters that go through these same habits and struggles in the relationship to tell you, that's nothing. Leave that alone. Don't make it a big issue. You're being emotional. You stepping out of bounds. You wrong. But a foolish person to be like, oh, no, girl, he tripping. You need to leave him. You better than him. You can upgrade. There's better. He need to know his place. He need to do this. She's stupid and she deserve treat her like this. Make her sit in the corner. There's people that have habitually destroyed marriages because they don't know how to rule their own spirit or their own household, but they're still married. And people look to them and be like, well, they must be doing something good because they married. They still married. No, we're going to get to that. People that still married, that look like they got it together, or you know they ain't got it together and they still together, we're going to get to that. That still exists here in this body. So be cautious on who you attach yourself to while you're growing your marriage in this volatile 1 to 3 years. Verse 28.
Verse 28.
Finish 27.
Neither except the person of the mighty.
And that person of a mighty is a person that has longevity in their marriage, but still haven't grown up in this truth. Read.
Verse 28. Strive for the truth unto death. And the Lord shall fight for thee.
So keep the commandments unto death. Keep the counsel, the good counsel that you came up with, and understanding who's going to direct your friendship right, who's actually looking out for the well-being of your marriage, because some people are not. Some people want to see you fail in your marriage, and then they move on. Their marriage is decent and good, have no problems because they've already conquered what they showed you they wanted you to see in their marriage. Like, listen, he's already subdued. He's not going anywhere. I can do this forever, and we're going to age together in wickedness. And they're going to pull your marriage down into that. That's not success, even though it looks like it. Read.
Be not hasty in thy tongue.
So in this hastiness of tongue, let me skip. Read 29 again.
Verse 29. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss.
This is you teaching evil lessons, saying things, and doing things that will damage your marriage because you have all power and authority in your household. You have to be wise in what you say and how you say it to not destroy your wife, because you know the strengths of your wife, and you know when you're being petty, when you're trying to destroy her spirit just to say that I'm Lord. Read verse 30.
Verse 30. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants.
So be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants. You do have supreme authority in your house, and it is needed to be known sometime. But some men stay in that mode. And the wife's joy and happiness, it slowly dies and diminishes. And on the other side of that, you have men that haven't mastered how to rule their house and balance their emotional intelligence to direct, lead, guide, and get on to their wives in a way to where it's not just devastating to where she's broken. Play this.
Married 48 years. How'd you do it? My dad looks at me and goes, that's simple, son. Never say the first or second thing that pops into your head. You always say the third. I go, what's that mean? He goes, well, the first thing, you will get a divorce. The second thing, you are on the couch. But the third thing, happily ever after.
So pause right there. So this is what I was saying, that you'll have a marriage that lasts beyond 10 years or until old age. But how he said it is what I'm going off of. It's as long as I keep her happy, I'm good. Ain't no way in hell I sleep on my couch that I paid for. I pay for the house. I'm not sleeping on my damn couch because you mad at me. Not doing that. You don't have that type of power or control to make me sleep somewhere because you're angry at me because of something that I said. Now, I'll make amends if I was wrong, or I'll make amends because I hurt your feelings, but I meant what I said, and I'm not taking back what I said, but I could have said it to you better. So I agree with maybe I shouldn't say the first thing that come to mind or the second, and I should really think about how I'm going to correct you, one, and still get my point across. I don't have to cuss. I don't have to yell. I don't have to demean you to make my point, to make you be accountable. That's the point of it all. But this man right here just sounds like a simp to me. He said, the first thing you say gonna get you a divorce. We made a covenant with God that once we got married, it was to old age. That's the covenant. We were going to die being married. And if we have any spats, any problems, we could reconcile it. That's the agreement that we made. There's no leaving. I'm not going to go sleep in my friend's house. I'm not going to go over to another brother's house and tell him all about my woes in this nature. I may blow off some steam, but I'm sleeping in my bed that night. I ain't finna be no weak man, and ain't no woman finna run me from my house, in my house. Play it from the beginning.
Married 48 years. How'd you do it? My dad looks at me and goes, that's simple, son. Never say the first or second thing that pops into your head. You always say the third. I go, what's that mean? He goes, well, the first thing, you will get a divorce. The second thing, you are on the couch. But the third thing, happily ever after. Me and my wife are driving to Vegas. She packs a cooler of food for our 2-year-old daughter. We get to Vegas, the food all mounted. I look in the cooler and notice she didn't put any ice in it. My wife looks at me and goes, you don't need to put ice in a cooler. It's a cooler, duh. Now, the first thing I thought was, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. But I didn't say the first thing. I didn't say the second thing. I said the third thing. I said, baby, I can't believe this cooler.
Pause right there. That's the problem. Now, the next time that this happens, and you can place this in any scenario, if I don't put blame where blame is, I have just taught my wife an evil lesson that she can get away with being a light woman, meaning stupid. That's the first thing that came to his mind was, this chick is stupid. I can't. What did her parents teach her to think that a cooler is just going to automatically cool itself down? It is stupid. And I don't have to say, I can say the first thing that came to mind. I just don't have to call you a dumb, That's not going to be the first thing that comes. I am going to tell you the actions that you displayed was dumb and we needed ice. I have to correct the situation, but it's how you correct the information. Get me Let me see if I want it. I want emotional intelligence next. Did I send it? All right. All right, hold it right there. So that's an example of a lion in the house is the first thing, because a man that is not sober-minded, emotionally intelligent, as we read in Titus, he's going to send that same trait to his wife and to his kids, and how you respond is how she responds. And she's going to respond to other people like that. So you got to be mindful on your mouth, your actions, when she makes mistakes, because how you deal with it, that's going to be the tone of the marriage. She's going to go off on people she's going to go off on you when you make dumb mistakes. But if you handle the situation logically and correct it, guess what's going to come out of her mouth, her mind? She's going to have a mind just like you, to where automatic accountability, correct the situation, fix it the next time. And it's going to go into various other types of issues that occur in your marriage. And in her operations of things, to where she's like, that was stupid, but this is how I can fix it. That's how you correct and build. Get Genesis 3:1. Because I made a statement that don't forget that these are Eve's children. And on the flip side of that, we are Adam's children too. The same mistake that he made is the same mistakes that we make. We have a weakness for the black woman. What she say, we eventually be like, that ain't right, but I love her. Even though God told me not to do it, I'm going to do it. Deal with the consequences, or run from the consequences. But you can't run from God. And you can't run from your consequences, because it's going to show up in your family, in your household. The devil is going to battle test your marriage. And this is what we see in Genesis 3:1.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
So instruction was given. She has a mind after her husband, because that's what he taught her. But Satan, lust, desire, equality is what she wanted. That was more than the love that she had for her husband and God. And she wanted it. This happens in a marriage. You have to correct it when you see it. You can't play with this. Read.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof.
And this is the counselor. This is the counselor that a husband and wife may choose, that they're going to listen to this type of advice for the marriage, and the woman may actually listen. Read.
For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, and did eat, and the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband.
So now the husband is doing the exact same. What the wife brought to him, he's doing it. This is where you become the weak man in your relationship. And this is still within the 1 to 3 years that the marriage gets battle tested like this. From counsel, from friendships, from mom and dad's advice on how they did things. You can take their advice, but you have to mate it through the Bible with your relationship. Some things that some people do in their marriage is good for their marriage. You're going to have to alter some advice to your marriage, because this particular thing that's going on in their marriage, it might destroy yours. You got to be wise enough to know that that's not for us. She's not strong enough to deal with that. I'm not strong enough to deal with that. But you must still deal with the actual problems. That's not an option. When you hear that advice, it's not just advice. This is the ramifications of this particular situation. Do it or else. 26 and 23. I'm sorry, I didn't even give you the book. Sirach. 26 and 23. And play the emotional intelligence. Yeah.
You feel like women are seriously ready for emotionally intelligent men?
Kitty, what do you think? Okay, let's talk about what emotional intelligence comes with before we even get into this conversation, okay? We're talking about you wanting a man who is tolerant, who regulates his emotions, who also knows how to manage your emotions. But you're also talking about a man who knows how to navigate his sensitivities and everything else when it comes to that. But you have to consider that an emotionally intelligent man is good at cutting people off when he sees that your sensitivities bring too much reactivity. When he sees that you cannot regulate your emotions. When he sees that you have a low tolerance. This type of man that you are asking for is a man who will walk you out the door in a heartbeat if he feels like you are disrupting his peace. If he feels like there's any level of disrespect, because there's a lot that comes with emotional intelligence. So if you asking for that, you got to come with the same level of emotional intelligence as well. Okay? That comes with a number of factors. So if you are a woman who knows that even though you may be sensitive to certain things like criticism, rejection, because you're not always going to be accepted. Sometimes he's going to bounce back, and sometimes he's going to say, I don't agree with your opinion. Sometimes he's going to say, I don't like those thoughts. Sometimes he's going to say, I don't like the way you speak to me. If you're not ready for that, don't be asking for an intelligent man.
So this is arguments. This causes arguments because our women feel entitled, even though they don't actually have the entitlement that they feel. It's just an emotion, and it's up to you to control that emotion. And if you don't, what happened in the garden is going to happen right in your home, to where other people are influencing her emotions and empowering those evil emotions that you allow. Sirach 26 and 23. That's why it's imperative that a man have himself mentally together. Read.
Sirach chapter 26 and verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man.
You like that type of woman. You created that type of woman, and you're okay with it. And that's why she is wicked, because you are. You accepted this type of woman, and now you can't correct it. You can't fix it. You can't give that criticism that you sigh about, or you mumble under your breath, or you go hide somewhere in your house, because you can't really tell her how you really think. You have to say the third thing instead of the second thing. I'm going to say the first thing in the mind of the third thing that I want to say. But you've already given her that power to where you can't even say the sixth thing now. You just a yes, dear. Yes, dear. Whatever you say, dear. I'm not okay with that, but if that's what makes you happy, we'll do that. I've heard men say that. If that's what makes you happy, we'll do that. No. If I don't agree with it, it's no. This ain't about your feelings. This ain't about me having power over you. That's not the direction I see us going, and we're not going. It's a good idea, but that's not what I want to do right now. No. You're going to have to be okay with that. No is not forever. No is right now. Until I say it's not. And you're just going to have to be okay with that. But if you can't say that, you wicked. You're an evil man, and she's going to run all over you. You don't have your emotional intelligence together. You're not the Titus 2-in-1 guy. Chapter 25 and 22.
Sirach chapter 25, verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger.
Why don't you do this? Why I gotta do this? Why I gotta go 50-50? Why I still gotta work? Why you can't do this? You just sit around the house and do all that. Which, if you sitting around the house all day, not picking yourself up, not maintaining your side of your manly duties, she got a right to be mad. It's naturally going to happen that she's mad because she's playing your role in the house, which a lot of these women have learned that mom is the leader. We went to camp in Midwest City, and I asked the two young kids, I think they both was like 14, they junior high students, and I was asking, who's the leader of the house? Chick said, my mama. There's a man that's there, but she pay everything. Other dude said, yeah, man, he lives with his aunt and uncle. My man said, yeah, my aunt pay for everything. These are the lessons that these kids are learning, that the woman maintains the house, is out of order. So guess what type of woman or man that brother or sister gonna be? She gonna be running the house, and he gonna be looking for a woman to take care of him. It's out of order and it's not going to work. And these are the type of women that are in our congregation even today, to where her money is her money. And now that you are or can take care of everything, it's still her money and our money when you make it. You have to set your house in order within these 1 to 3 years. Because if you don't, and sometimes this just be a weak point in you to where, listen, you just fell off. This is a bad year. Biblically, there was bad years to where there was a famine. And Israel was dependent on another nation to feed them. It happens. But you have to manage your household to fight against these things, just the same way our forefathers did. Back in the time of Joseph, to where he had a defense for the famine. You got to have that mind for your household. So when you do fall, there's a cushion. And she's not maintaining anything. She's still the aid. And that still doesn't give the wife the permission to be this type of woman, to where she's angry and impudent and impatient because you're at a low point. This is where you're going to find out whether you have that friend or not. And it's still up to you to train your wife to be that friend that's going to be with you when you're low. Because y'all was good when y'all can go here and go there and do this. But now that y'all can't and it all slowed down, you're going to see that passenger princess turn into a demon when she can't have her way like she used to. What I got you finna play? Oh, yeah. Get your nuts. This is going to be you.
The problem is you lack accountability. Deeper. Now, see, the problem is you lack accountability. Yeah, I like that one. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm getting sick and tired of your like that one. You go in Target for one thing, you'll come out with 27 things. You Costco trying to spend $100 and come out spending $500. Hit the table really hard and might startle her a little bit. Okay. I'm not putting up with that. Huh? You hear me? Okay, I might have to point at her when I do that. Smack the table, come on, point. I'm not putting up with that. I'm sick of your mouth. I think that was good. That sound convincing right there. Okay.
Listen, I've seen brothers try to hype themselves up to deal with they demon of a wife because they've let her go unchecked for so long, and now they trying to get their testicular fortitude back. And this is what it looks like. It looks real pathetic. You practice it. You go listen to me, woman. I done touched. Nope. She done already shut down. You ain't this guy. You ain't never stood on business like that. But I've also seen men who stood up on business like that, and she be like, okay, we'll see how long this lasts. I'll listen today, but next week, I'm going to go back to doing what I used to do, and you going to take it just like you've been taking it. Cower down, little lion. Read.
Verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
So this is where the man is trying to get his household back in order and put her in check. Read.
A wicked woman abateth the courage.
But she knows she got you. You putty. She not listening to nothing that you said, all that rah-rah. As soon as she do what she do, put her feminine wiles on you, you going to be putty. You going to be bread in her hand. Read.
Maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart.
This is where a man, either he gonna man up, notice his faults, move on, and get his house in order, or he gonna become that weak man that, yes, dear, to where you see he don't cut his hair no more, he don't dress nice no more, his spirit is down, and he practice, I'm a man, woman. No, at home, I'm the man of this house, woman. That's what you sound like at home. Around us at camp, you strong, bringing it out. But at home, man, I don't even want to argue, man. You got it. This is good. Weak. Read.
A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress.
Because you hit a low point in your life. You may have some terrible news, loss in the family, series of bad events, and you're depressed. I've been there before. But a good wife is going to show you to make you that accountable man that she know that you supposed to be, to help build you up, because she is an aid and she took counsel. Like, listen, my husband ain't my husband no more. He got weak, he got soft. And I'm not saying she gonna tell your business out like that. Some sisters will. But she's gonna seek counsel because she's never seen her husband low like this. She's going to do what's in her power to build that man back up, because she can't handle what you've been handling. It wasn't put in her to be that. She's the help, the aid. You're the structure, the foundation. So she must build you back up. But a woman like this, she don't need you to be that. She just needs you to be that house body that you are, to keep enough support so she can be the woman that she always wanted to be. And some men trick themselves into thinking that they in a real relationship, but she got a son that she can have sex with. That's it. That's what you've become. Read.
A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin.
That's why I read Genesis 3, because the same problem in the garden is the same problem here in Babylon with the man and the wife. Read.
And through her we all die.
Read.
Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad.
So with that, give me I'm a God. And we got to skip.
You got women, right? You got some women, like real shit, that hate black men. You hate everything about me. I'm a god. I'm beautiful. I walk in some rooms and I get around certain black women and I start talking. They can't stand me. Good. Bye. Black men are the only race of man that gets publicly disrespected by their women. When you come around as a black man and you know who you are and you know you're the leader, you know I'm a god. She's a goddess. I'm a god though. I'm the original man. I'm him. Black men need to have confidence. Listen, you know how beautiful you are? 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 I know I look good. I'm not sitting here, Bob, shorty, there's a door that way. Beat it. When that woman is argumentative and she want to talk and every 5 minutes she want to get a word in, let her go. Don't beat on her. Don't catch no cases. Let her go. Like literally let her go. You ever heard this slogan? Happy wife, happy life? You ever heard that? Exactly. Happy man is God's plan.
So I do have to get more out of Sirach. 25 and 25 and 26, because he said it, and I forgot that he said it in his video. But you the freaking God, you know you're an Israelite, and it burns me that brothers and sisters get married after they find out the truth. You have a defense. I did not have this Bible when me and my wife got together. We were just figuring it out like everybody else. Now, it got better gradually because I know this truth, but we had all these issues before we had the truth. And we use those examples to know that was our worst. There's never going to be a time to where we were like that before we learned this truth. We didn't have a defense. Y'all in this body got a defense. You the God, man. She can call herself a goddess. That's after you. Adam came first. You the prize. You should never leave your lose your confidence. This world is going to beat and batter us, but you should never lose your confidence because the world belongs to you. You just fighting to learn how to conquer it right now. Don't let it conquer you. And it's the woman that you got to be like, listen, with or without you, I'm still a God. I make gods. You just house them. Now, saying that, I need you equally, but I can find another you. It's going to be hard for you to find another me. Keep your testicular fortitude. Read 25 and 25.
Sirach chapter 25, verse 25. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad.
Keep your house in check. Stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Read.
If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off.
If she don't have the mind like you, she ain't built like you to have faith and be strong and be an aid, be feminine, like an aged woman is supposed to be, leave. If she get her mind right couple years down, okay, reconcile. But if she can't get it right, cut her off. Leave her alone. Read.
Cut her off from thy flesh, and give her a bill of divorce, and let her go.
That was it on that. So we're going to jump now to 3 to 8 years. If this continues within the 3 and 8 years, this is what's going to say what type of marriage is going to happen. And spoiler alert, either you're going to grow, stay the same, and you're going to be in them 48 years to where you have an evil marriage and you're just stuck with it, or you're going to live joyfully in a righteous marriage if you correct all these things. But if not, the marriage is going to, it really ends in this 3 to 8 years. Whether y'all get a divorce or not, it will end in these 3 to 8 years. Y'all are just roommates at this moment and keeping the commandments. I can't leave you, so I'm going to just go to work and go home, go out of town. The marriage is completely dead and void. Y'all ain't even seeking counsel. Y'all are just stuck because I can't get divorced. And I say that because you can always separate. The goal is to reconcile. But we in this life, we don't want to fix anything. It's easier to just run and get somebody new and bring the same problems into the next relationship. The goal was always to be with one husband, one wife until death. But not us. We don't like it. Sirach 9 and 1.
This is Sirach chapter 9, verse 1. Be not jealous over the wife of thy bosom.
And what happens is, with this jealousy is, she may have become the breadwinner because you took that loss, or something in your house done happened. You become disabled in some type of way, and she has to step up. Tobit went through this with his wife, but that still doesn't give her the authority over you, because it's y'all's life that's in the both of y'all's hand. And she is an aid when you can't be 100% because of circumstances of life. This happens. You have to prepare your mind and your wife's mind to be like, listen, I could absolutely die, and now it is all on you. I need you to be built up in case that happens, because the likelihood of it not is even less because we're in this truth. Read.
And teach her not an evil lesson.
But if you taught her evil lessons throughout these the 1 to 3 years, and now it's in the 3 through 8, yep, she's going to be bold over you. And now she's the breadwinner, and she's going to take all that anger and aggression when you ruled over her because you was making the money and wouldn't allow her to do this or do that because you had the power to tell her no. She's going to do you the exact same way because you taught that evil lesson to her. You didn't teach her how to be a wife. You just taught her how to be absolutely subordinate. Now she has the power over you, and that's what she's going to assert over you. Read.
And teach her not an evil lesson against thyself. Give not thy soul unto a woman to set her foot upon thy substance.
That shouldn't be the basis of the marriage because she got things going on. Because she got things going on, she can help if she's needed. But some men, they want a sugar mama. They want somebody to take care of them so they can quit working and take a break. No, that's your role. Don't put her. If you put her in that role, you might as well put her in pants. Because she is going to turn into Eve in the garden at some point. It may not be a drastic change, but there's going to be signs that she don't want to listen to you. She got her own money and she went to go buy something. She didn't even run it past you. She just created a whole new bill and then got fired, or she just got tired of working and now she wants you to take over the bill that she created. No, you did that. Read.
Verse 3. Be not with an harlot, lest thou fall into her snares.
And this is where sin comes into play. Because now y'all don't have desire for each other. Y'all mad at each other, things are going on, and you're trying to fill that void or rekindle that same feeling that you had in the beginning with a new person. So it's telling a man, don't commit sin because it's going to make right now it's still fixable. You can still fix this, but if you sin and add insult to injury, she's going to hang that over your head. She's not going to leave. You remember when you met that? You was buying prostitutes. You was with sister such and such. You destroyed our marriage. I was fixing it, working, taking care of you, and you did this to me. It's because you never checked some of these things. You never educated your wife on how to be a wife in good times and bad times, and you messed things up worse. Let me jump because I'm out of time. Ephesians 5:21. And give me change. I'm going to play change before we do Ephesians 5.
I told some ladies one time, I said, let me show y'all how to find the perfect husband. And of course, you know, a room full of ladies like, he finna tell me. And they start pulling and pulling and pulling. Yeah. I said, I need you to make a list of everything that you want him to be. Make a list. Everything I want his credit score to be 850. I want him to be making $200,000 a year. He got to have his own house. I want him to be well groomed. He got to be well rounded. I say, make everything on that list that you want in a person. Do it. Put it all on there, everything. And become the list. See, we're not willing to become the list of what we want. See, you just want a bunch of stuff, but you're not willing to become a bunch of stuff.
And I pulled this video at this moment because this is the problem. Somebody in a relationship is demanding change, and there's a fight. We get comfortable. We do. It may be the job that has us comfortable, positions that we are in our life that make us comfortable. But as we know, life around us has changed. It evolves to a certain extent to where change is needed. More is going to be asked of you. and you have to change. When a person is asking for that change, there's a fight. Man may have, I'll use men's conference as an example. Everybody come home with the rah-rah after men's conference. And some of you brothers don't understand that the change was already taking place before men's conference even happened. You're just getting the verbal understanding of the changes that's already been instituted and being told that at this point, you're being held accountable. But the change has already happened, so men will go home like, yeah, rah, yeah, wife, you got to do this because I'm a warrior. And she looking at you like, sure. Welcome home, husband. I know you. And you're going to change for about 2 to 3 months. And you're going to be the same husband that I always know. Have a seat next to me. Because our wives know us. That's that spirit, rah-rah. But if you really in this fight, you're going to see changes happening. While change is happening. And I see things like that, and I'm like, that brother is like that in his marriage. I'm seeing it play out. Because of that change, there's going to be an argument because change is uncomfortable. And a man is demanding his respect. And I'm talking about on the bad side. On the good side, the wife is going to see the change, and now she's going to adapt. She may be lackadaisical, but as the man keeps pressing and impressing it, and he changes, she will gradually follow because that's her natural order. She sees change and she follows change, positive change and negative change. So either way that you go, change is going to happen. And what we do is complain about the bad change and don't congratulate the good change. And it destroys our house even more. Ephesians 5:21. And with that, some people be wanting more for you. And you'll express these in counsels and to other brothers, but that's just talk for you. And then you will tell the wife, like, yeah, man, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And a year go by, you ain't did it. That's what the Bible calls hope deferred. I think that's what it is. It's in my Psalms of Proverbs. Bishop pull it all the time. And I see that happening in marriages. The man will have all these aspirations and dreams and hopes and goals. And as soon as you don't meet that goal or it doesn't happen in that time frame, you're in a slump. And in those 3 to 8 years, you're in that slump and time done moved past and you never got out of that slump. And that's why change is necessary in your relationship. You have to continue to grow and get better and fight through those evil, oppressive thoughts and the woman that may cast those thoughts on you. You'll never be that. We can't afford that. We can't do that. That's too much. That's not us. No, fight. Become the change. Ephesians 5:21.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another.
This is your respective roles. This is how you submit one to the other. It's within your respectable roles. It isn't that she rule me 50-50 and I rule her 50-50. It's within your respective God-given roles. Read.
Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God.
This is the continuous counsel that I hear being given. Sis, listen to your husband. Brother, do this and it's going to fix it. But what we do, we don't take on those roles and be like, yeah, I'm listening. And then do the opposite. Read.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands.
I heard a person went to someone and was like, hey, can I do this? Got the answer, and then went to somebody else and said, whatever your husband said to do. You already had your answer. You are looking for someone to tell you not to do what your husband told you to do. That's exactly what you're trying to do. And that just tells me you don't stand on business. And if you do, she finds ways that you know about that you allow her to undercut you. And you not correcting it. These are marriages that's going on up into the 3 to 8 years. And it's going to continue like that till you get to the 48 years that my man was talking about with happy wife, happy life. It's eventually going to get there if it's not corrected, to where he's going to submit to how she is. She's just waiting her time till she can fully become what Eve was in the garden. Read.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife.
Give me, don't boss me around.
So you're saying men, masculine men, they act like that because it's their nature?
I mean, a man is supposed to lead, isn't it? I mean,
That's not leading. Bossing people around?
yeah, that's what leadership is. Leadership is giving directions. Now, if your man says, hey, I'm hungry, go downstairs and fix me a sandwich. You look at your face. Now, let's reverse it. But,
It's something about like, go make me.
It was a directive. That's what a boss does. He gives orders, directives to do this at this place at this time and bring it here. Those are directives. That's leadership. I'm telling you what to do, how to do it, and where to bring it after it's done. That's what a leader does. Those are directives. Those are orders. It may come from your boss, your husband, or leadership. Ultimately, all orders come from God on how we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do. And it's up to us to be servants and follow that. That's what a wife is to a husband. She's a servant, a person who follows orders, directives from the leader or the boss, the person in charge. Leader meaning Lord. Play. Oh, while I stopped it, her facial expression. I can't see if it was another person on this side speaking and she heard it and rolled her eyes. I'm not doing that. Listen, don't roll your eyes at me. Don't smack your teeth. Don't roll your eyes. Don't bat your eyelashes at me. Don't huff. Don't mutter. Those are signs of disrespect. If you allow that, she'll do other things. You got to nip those little things in the bud, because if her manager, her boss, sees that she got an attitude like that, you're either going to be fired, written up, or dismissed in some type of way, to where you won't get that promotion because you don't fit the bill of what we're looking for this company. And a man got to think of his household like a company. That doesn't fit the directives of this household and is not going to be allowed or tolerated. I have a low tolerance for this, this, and this. Follow the directives. Play.
So it's almost the same.
Okay, cool.
It's almost the same as like I was cleaning my room and then your parent walks in and is like, clean your room. It's like, damn, I was doing that already.
All right, you work okay. Does. Hey, clean out your register and go to register 6.
That's giving direction. But bossing.
You can't make this shit up.
No, but bossing.
You cannot make this shit up.
All right, stop it right there. He just asked for a sandwich. That's bossing. Boss said, switch registers. What was the difference? And y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but it's sisters that think like this. And the example that I gave is a real life situation, to where the wife will listen to somebody in leadership, but not the leader of her house. That's a problem. And this isn't a message saying don't listen to leadership, but if your husband says that he doesn't want this in his household, or you can't do this per his household, leadership has nothing to do with those orders. They can't override that man in his household. They're not above him in his household. They can't come in and say, hey, listen, man, I'm elder such and such, I'm deacon such and such, officer such and such, your wife told me what you was doing. And I'm talking about when it's not sin. It's just a normal thing. They can't come in your house and tell you what to do. Sisters be bugging with that. Well, deacon said in his class that you got to do it like this. Well, go live with him. Let's see how that, go be his wife then. I'm not putting up with that in my household, and some men will allow it. They will not put their foot down like that. Read.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife.
That is the order, the leader, the boss, the manager, the Lord, supreme ruler of the house. Read.
Even as Christ is the head of the church.
Because when Christ say do something, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. There's going to be consequences if you do it. Look at the conditions that we're in right now. That's the proof. Read.
And he is the Savior of the body.
Read.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands.
To their own husbands. Sis, when you were single and listening in the church, now that you're married, you have to listen the same way to your husband. Right or wrong, you're going to be the, what's the word? Beneficiary of those mistakes. It is up to the both of y'all to live with them. Fix them together. He's going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes that he has to clean up. Be the same help for him. We make mistakes too. We fall just the same. But that still doesn't give the authority to mix match positions. Read.
So let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
In everything. Read.
Husbands, love your wives.
Because you're the beneficiary of everything, good and bad. The good times and the bad times, you are the beneficiary. So you got to be there in everything, for everything that the house is going through. Now, he may have a situation to where he's dealing with it and he doesn't need your help, but you still got to be there for the support. Read.
Husbands, love your wives.
So don't be bitter and jealous over your wife in those situations. Read.
Even as Christ also loved the church.
Because Christ can have the same complaint. He had to come and die for us. Because we wouldn't listen, he had to come down and fix everything and then die, be beaten, and go through jail and false imprisonment and all of these things because his people won't listen to him. Sounds like a wife to me. Read.
And gave himself for it.
Read.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of the word.
The husband's job is the same thing. That he is the bearer of everything that goes on to that house. You make a mistake, it's his fault. If you do something without his permission, it's because it's what you taught him, what you taught her. He takes the heavy of everything. The backlash, your attitude, how you deal with other people, it's all his fault. What you say, what you do, how you behave, it is the husband's fault. So it will behoove you, wife, to correct yourself. So now when it says, hey, this is all right. Now it's the husband's fault that you are all right, that you can be trusted, that you can be in the position in the body that you wanted to be in because you listen to your husband. You've proven that level of being a wife, a helper. So now you can help other people in their marriage. You've been rewarded for your duties as a wife, as a follower. You can take instruction. But you sisters that can't, just sit down and shut up. That's it. What verse you at?
Verse 27.
Go ahead.
That he might present it to himself a glorious church.
Right.
Not having spot.
Not sinning. Not making the same mistakes, but growing, being blameless because you had all these problems. She was this type of person. You were this type of person, but y'all fixed it. And y'all are fixing it. Y'all not going back. That's the not having spot. Y'all marriage is at its perfection within these 3 to 8 years. Read.
Or wrinkle, or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
Now people are looking at you like, dang, man, y'all been married for 8 years, man. It's beautiful. That's wow. How did you do it? Now you become that counselor that you've been counseled to be. You've become that example of marriage, a righteous marriage, on what it's supposed to look like. That gives hope to other people that are trying to get married or having issues like, dang, I seen them when they was at a low point. Look at them now. Read.
Verse 28. So ought men to love their wives.
It's a learned attribute. It's not just some emotion that's going to click to be like, you know what, I love my wife and this is how it's going to. No, it's a learned attribute on how to love a wife with patience, humility, and structure, holding that person accountable to their actions. Read.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies.
Read.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
It shows how much you care about yourself in your wife. When she look ratty and out of place, that's a reflection on you. That's why everything that she do or don't do is your fault. It shows how well you're taking care of your personal self and your spirit. You're walking this truth. It shows in her and your kids. Read.
For no man ever yet hated his own flesh.
Read.
But nourisheth it and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church.
This is your emotional intelligence. This is what goes back to that Titus chapter 2, verse 1, and then going on to the wife, that y'all understand how to be compatible according to the scriptures. 31. Go ahead.
Verse 31. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother.
So that pivotal point is no more running to mommy and daddy to fix your issues. Or she tripping, I need some place to stay. He tripping, he won't let me do this. Let me get some money, even though he told me that I couldn't have what I had. You leave father and mother and do what?
And shall be joined unto his wife. And they two shall be one flesh.
Y'all are going to deal with y'all problems. Y'all not going to run to somebody else to spite the other to fix y'all's problems. And a good father and mother is going to be like, hey, listen, what did your husband say? This is the father to his daughter. What did your husband say? Did he say that you can have this money to do this? He said, no, well, I'm not giving it to you. But what a father would do, he did what? Because the wife ain't going to tell the whole story. She going to air out all his business on what he ain't did and why, in this argument, he being petty and won't give the money. And you're like, he did all of that. You know what? I ain't finna let my grandbaby suffer or my baby suffer like this. I'm going to give you the money. Totally disannoying the man. Not even talking to the husband and figure out why this situation occurred. That destroys marriages, to where the wife want to run back to her mama and her dad, get terrible advice because he a sucker dad that does everything that his wife want him to do. And now the wife is trying to get the husband to be like the father. It will destroy your marriage. In times like that, those are the last people. You don't want biased people to engage in your marriage because they're going to take your side. They're going to give you that itching ear that you're looking for. Like, yeah, man, you should have dumped her on her head, man. You should have did her like this. I would have talked to her worse. No, I need a solution. Help me with the solution, not cause more problems, not cause more arguments and dramas. I want to calm down. I want to come back to the situation with tact, sober-mindedness, because I'm furious right now, and I could do something to her, and I don't want to. But if you talk to that right person, they're going to tell you to do exactly what your lust wants you to do. Read.
Verse 32. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church.
So jumping from this, I want to get a few more examples. Go to Fight Rose.
Patriarchal society that was run by women, what would the man's role become?
The hard workers, and we'd be the bitches at home.
Isn't that exactly what we have right now?
Yeah, you're right.
So why would a matriarchy be any better than a patriarchy if that's exactly what we have right now?
Okay, sorry, I contradicted your question. Too many tequila shots.
I feel like the opposite would literally happen. You know, women would end up, bringing in all the bread, working all the time, and then it would be the men that were at home taking care of the kids, cooking, cleaning.
But do you think women want to do all those dangerous, dirty jobs that are typically done by men?
No. I can absolutely say they will not.
So then, wouldn't the man's role pretty much stay the same as doing all the hard labor jobs?
Honestly, yeah, and then it would just add fuel to the fire because it'd be as a man. Not only do they have to go, do all the working and stuff, they also have a wife that's at home, not taking care of the children, not cooking, not cleaning. So then at that point, it's just like, why do you even have a wife?
You see that? She said, why even have a wife if he got to do all of those things? But that's what happens.
If we lived in a matriarchal society,
that's what happens in these marriages is that women be wanting something that's not realistic, and then the husband will tell them that that's a fantasy, is not realistic, and or he'll go with the unrealistic just to prove a point, and it stay that way, and it breaks the marriage, or she finds out that I was foolish. That's not what I really wanted. And some of these lessons have to play out. They have to go through, and this is where that lesson of submitting yourselves one to the other. Okay, you want to be in my shoes? Okay, I'm going to put you there. So you can see that that's not what you really want, and you were really happy with what I was providing. Now, we don't have everything that we both would like, but this is our life, and we have to be happy with it. Give me the next argument.
I don't like how you just
This is the one
that.
right here.
What? Or when I almost ran over you with the car. That was bad.
And I have the anger issues?
Yes.
So hold on.
For real, we got in a really bad fight.
Hold on. Started from the beginning. So this is domestic violence in the relationship because tension builds up in marriages, and arguments will start small and then they get bigger over time, and it boils over to this within these 3 to 8 years. Sometimes it happens in the 1 to 3 year, but as time progresses, it explodes into this, and this is them getting over it. And now they can have a laugh and a conversation about it like, dang, that's foolish. This isn't healthy, but this is a good example of how it should look after y'all go through certain problems in your marriage. Play.
Once that was a bad
No,
one.
I don't like how you just glossed over that.
What? Or when I almost ran over you with the car. That was bad.
And I have the anger issues?
Yes.
No, for real. We got in a really bad fight, an argument, and I called her out of her name. Childish. And she physically threw keys, and she had a lot of access to a lot of doors.
The keys were heavy.
In my face. And then we went outside, and she wants to go and drive away, and at that point, a car that I was paying for. So I brought that up. I'm not childish at all. That's my car, I pay the bills. And then I stuck my hand in the window to try to get the keys, and she rolled the window up on my arm. And then I got behind the car, Pastor Earl, and she tried to run me over.
I was just trying to get him to get out of the way. He would listen.
So here's the deal, guys. How many of you would admit that there are things that you do in your marriage that are childish? Come on.
True.
Come on. And what we have discovered in our marriage is that the issues from our childhood, from the past, continue to show up in the present until they are healed.
That's right.
With your spouse.
And this is the submitting yourselves one to another, reconciling, learning how to deal with your emotions first and foremost as the man, and managing her emotions as a woman, and her learning how to manage her own emotions and taking accountability for her actions, her role in y'all's problems, y'all's marital problems. If y'all can't have this conversation like adults, y'all are going to argue, and it's going to explode into domestic violence. And before we started class, I was saying, like, listen, she'd have been whooping on you for a couple years, and you got tired of it. And the first time that you just like, I'm sick of this, and you just hit her at a reflex, you going to jail. Now you have a record of being a woman beater. Everybody know that you're a woman beater after she been secretly kicking your behind, but you the one exposed. The man always takes blame. Always. Because you haven't taught her how to take accountability. If you would have taught her how to take accountability and control her, it wouldn't happen. Let me see the other argument. This is the miscommunications that causes arguments.
When I first got married, my wife told me one night, she said, Sean, I'm going to bed early. I left some food on the stove. Can you put it away before you go to bed? I said, sure. There are 4 pots on the stove. I go to the refrigerator, I make room, and I put each pot neatly into the refrigerator. I put the food away. She comes down the next day, goes to the refrigerator, sees that I put the 4 pots in the refrigerator, and says, why did you put the pots in the refrigerator? Because before you went to bed, you communicated, put the food away. I did what you said. When she told me to put the food away, what does she mean? Put the food in Tupperware. Wrap the food up in saran wrap. Put the food in aluminum foil. Wash the dishes. Be sure to empty the dishwasher. She said none of that. The point I'm trying to make is just because you're talking doesn't mean that your partner is understanding. You gotta be sure that you are being assertive. What do you feel? What do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? Your wife cannot read your mind. So you have to be assertive and break down for her. Here it is.
So, I should have played this early on, but just imagine this continue on, because he said in the beginning there was an instruction, but it wasn't clearly communicated, and he did what a man would normally do, put the stuff up. That's the instruction, that's what I'm gonna do. It infuriates, it makes women angry because that's not how they're going to do things, and they expect you to have that common sense and not be a man and to clean up. Not just put stuff away, but to clean it up because she just needed some help. So if a man chooses to help in that manner, then that was the expectation. Because if you have an expectation of how you give an instruction, you expect it to be carried out fully to the expectation. And because we don't do that for each other, guess what? Well, I did what you said. I did exactly what you told me to do. You said, put the stuff up, I put the stuff up. You didn't give all those instructions, but as we get older, we understand each other's expectation, and that shows whether one of us is being petty or not. And to that example, people be like that. They'll do something petty like that to where you know what I meant. I didn't have to express fully what I meant. You've been with me long enough to know that this was the expectation. But you did that because you're harboring feelings against me. And we can easily talk about it. We can easily get past it. But if you're not willing to change and communicate, it won't happen. Give me the one with the with old boy I was talking about with the dreads. The Edomite. Give me the Edomite.
Thank you for doing my 50%.
Yeah. What did you just do?
I washed, dried, and put away your clothes.
Well, I took them off the hangers, got them dirty, put them in the hamper. That's my 50%.
Hey, look, I've been married, I think I've been with my wife for something like 17 years or something like that. Me and her at this point, we find humor in these things. And I always bring this story up. When we were doing Casting Down Imaginations, I'm doing a class about marriage, and I was talking about a husband that never puts his clothes into the basket. It's always on the floor next to a basket. Men are wired like that, whatever. So coincidentally, Captain Paulu's wife is at my house with my wife, and they watching me teach class about marriage and bad habits, and they both look over on the side of the couch. We were doing camp, I think we was doing 30 days of camp like that. So, I earned my clothes and switched it to my camp clothes, and I left my clothes that I took off on the side of the couch. They both look over there like a cartoon. There's hypocrite here. Because, I'm just in the process. It wasn't like it was malicious, but at this point in your marriage, these should be laughable things. We make mistakes, we forget things are busy. But some people will turn this into a real argument, a real problem, and be like, listen, he's childish and I have to clean up after him like a little kid. This, I found humor in it because he's like, well, I did my 50%. Your natural job is to take care of the house. Well, he said, well, I got him dirty and I put him back so you can do the whole process again. This is humorous to me. This is living joyfully with your wife, because how are you mad about natural things? This is part of marriage. And if you can't find humor or balance in this, you're just going to destroy your marriage over something little. And that little thing is going to turn into something big. You got the one I was looking for? Go ahead.
Garbage out already?
That's not the way you're gonna talk to me. Red flag.
You took the garbage out?
What the hell is it? Alright, red flag.
Babe, you be bugging, man. I'm just asking you a question.
Red flag. What is bugging?
Babe? Excuse me. Have you taken the garbage out?
I will, honey.
It took, and this is a skit just to prove a point, that a man is not going to accept his woman trying to rule over him. And that's what I mean by checking it at those little things. Because if she continues on, like the second time, it wasn't that bad, but you still got some aggravation over something little. I didn't take out the trash. Okay, you forget things, and I don't badger you over it. I give you time to like get yourself together, and then I'll remind you, and I'll remind you, and I'll tell you, and then I'll remind you. Just the same way that you got to do with the kids. Tell, remind, tell, beat them, remind them. But that's the process, because when we look at the Bible, how many times from page 1 to the end of the Bible do we have to hear, keep the commandments, obey, fear me, love me, learn to love me, fear me, walk in my way, keep my commandments or else. Keep my commandments or else. You didn't keep my commandments, so this is the consequences. Keep my commandments, and then I will. How many times does it say that in the Bible? So how do you, as a man, woman, lose patience with a man that's right next to you? God ain't lost that patience with us. So you got to learn the same longevity as God to deal with as he dealt with his people, to deal with your own household. It's just as simple as that. As irritating and as frustrating as it may be, but you got to level up on your emotional intelligence and humble yourself down. You're not finna come at a real man like that. That wasn't the one though. It's another one. It's not, I don't know what's wrong with mine, or it's how I got my settings, but it's not populating to where I can see it. I can just see a link. There's another one. The dude is taking out the trash. He's taking out boxes. It's a split screen. I mean, if you got to bounce in and out of them, I'm fine with that. But I want that one, and then I'm going to move on with these examples. This is one of those things of she has habits and he has habits, and they both complain about each other's habits, but it's equally the same thing. And I'm telling you, this is the exact same thing that happens in my marriage. And I can laugh about it now because I understand my wife. She understands me. And it's how we are wired. There's certain things that I know she's just not going to do. Even though that she has the capability of doing it, I just know that she's not going to do it, as well as me. I can do it. I might forget. I might put it off. And it's just something that she doesn't mind doing. Go ahead. So the example is my wife, she'll order some things, doggone offline, and the boxes are waiting for me to take out. She done went to the store and back, passed by the box and back, but what she'll do is leave it in the place where I can see that it needs to be taken out. And it's there until I take it out. I don't mind. You know why I don't mind? Because for some odd reason, my clothes never... Listen, the younger I was, there's a trail of my lifestyle of getting home. First the shoes, and then as I get to the bed, there's some clothes, and then as you get to the shower, there's more clothes, but they never make it to the basket. I have a pile of clothes, like my pajamas. When I get into bed, pajamas off, tank top off, I'm in the bed. They're gonna stay there. I might wear them the next day because I just put them on when I put them on, and now I'm going to bed and they're not dirty. I didn't get any stains on them. I didn't sweat in them like that. I wore these just casually walking around the house, and they're clean. I might wear them again. Never do. Almost never do. And it used to make her mad. But as we've grown, she understands that's just me. She got to do the laundry anyway. She got to clean up anyway. It's just part of the process. Don't let this be a pivotal moment in your marriage where y'all hate each other because you picking up clothes. You got to pick them up anyway. You do it for them little ragamuffins that y'all created together. So what's the difference? You got to do it anyway. Now, switching gears. This is the 10 plus years. Get Sirach 25:1. This is one of my favorite scriptures. And in the beginning, this is what I was striving to be. Still striving, because I'm not perfect. My marriage isn't perfect. I still have problems. And this is the goal so that we age together and that I continue to grow in this body and in spirit. Read.
Sirach chapter 25, verse 1. In 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before God and men.
So he's finna name 3 things that made him beautiful and made him stand up. Beautiful before God and men. This is what pleases God, and this is inspiration to other men. Read.
The unity of brethren.
Knowing how to get along with your own people, your brothers. How to be a brother. How to deal with other people. Learning these skills and attributes to keep the bond and the unity amongst the congregation. Read.
The love of neighbors. A man and a wife that agree together.
A man and a wife that have been through these struggles and said, it's not sin. It's just bad habits. We can grow from it. Let's not turn it into sin. Let's not make it continuous offenses. These aren't malicious things. They're just natural habits that relationships have to mature from. Don't let these little things destroy your marriage, and then you have outsiders coming in, feeding into that negativity to destroy your marriage. Give me Die Alone. And I'm going to skip through this because it's lengthy. And give me Proverbs 13. I'm going to start at verse 20. You got me on Die Alone? All right. Read Proverbs 13 and 20. Let me know when it's ready.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise.
So if you keep company with people that give you godly counsel, just counsel, that's looking out for the well-being of your marriage, you're going to be straight. You're still going to make mistakes. You may not carry out the counsel or advice fully, but the goal and objective is not to sin. Read.
But a companion of fools shall be destroyed.
And again, I've seen a few marriages destroyed because they were following a bad example of a brother, a love. He didn't have the love. This family didn't have the love of neighbors, and the marriage wasn't good either. And it destroyed marriages. I've seen men give counsel to destroy a marriage. Read.
Evil pursueth sinners.
So if you didn't correct your sins, it's going to pursue you. And as Genesis says, it's going to have dominion over you and rule you. So you have Satan ruling your household. Read.
But to the righteous, good shall be repaid.
But if you keep your life intact, blameless, without wrinkle, Most High is going to fight for your marriage. He's going to help you in your marriage, in your growth. We got it? Play it.
The truth about being alone. I didn't want to tell this story, but per her request, she wanted me to tell it. Brace yourself. This is a hard one. Young lady reached out to me and she said, Joe, can I tell you my story? I want you to share it with me. Share it with your people. I said, yeah. She said, I was diagnosed with cancer. I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. She said, no, but let me take you back. She had an amazing man. We was building together in our 20s. He just wanted a child. He put me through school or helped me through school.
So hold right there.
And I told him.
So earlier we seen a young brother, a young sister, to where she had both parents and he didn't, and he was pretty much taking care of his mother's household. She was well ahead. So now you have this situation to where he stayed the same. He was content where he was. She wasn't content where they were. So she wanted to go to school. Guess what he did? He obliged his wife. Like, listen, I don't have no problem with you growing. I'm good where I'm at. Grow. So he gave her the ability to grow. And this is what happens when you're ungodly or don't have people. Well, I'll say it like this. When your marriage is ungodly and you don't have godly counsel directing your marriage, it's destined to fail. It don't matter how long you survived or the time in, time is going to destroy that marriage. You may stay married, but in this world that we live in right now, divorce is easy. It's easy to leave when you don't get what you want or society makes it seem like you're less than if you haven't changed in its standards. Play.
Let me get my bachelor's degree and get my footing and we can start our family. Then it was, let me get my master's degree and then we'll start our family. I kept putting it all. Let me get in this career. Let me get a certain place in my career and then we'll start our family. And she said, Joe, I grind, man. And that man waited for me. He was a good man. Never cheated on me. Good provider. He wasn't a college man. He didn't ever go to college. But he was a good dude.
So hold right there. This is encompassing possibly 6 to 8 years. Because it takes about that long to get your master's and get set in a career. So it's no telling how long they've been together all together, but this is, I would say this is within 6 to 8 years of getting this together. This man does not have a legacy. He was quiet about it. He may have nudged for it, but okay, I agree to this. I'll be patient. I'll wait. I'll let you get yourself together. I'll be patient. I'll wait. I'll be patient. I'll wait. But that softened him. Because this whole time, she's evil. She's bitter. She can be better than him, like Eve thought that she could have been better than him, and it wasn't so. It was a false reality that she had in her head, and he didn't check it and let it go on for years. And we're approaching the 10-year mark of a marriage. I'm saying hypothetically because I don't know the time frame of this. Go ahead.
A couple of years went by. He was like, okay, I want to have a child. She said, I don't want any kids right now. You got to make more money. You got to make this. You have to do this and do that. And he was like, I'm good where I'm at. So then she told him, you're not on my level. I want a divorce. I need a man on my level. She got a divorce. She went out there and had her hot girl summer. She said, girl was like, girl, go find you a man on your level. He wasn't on your level. It's funny how your girlfriends will always co-sign your bad behavior. And it's funny how your boys will always co-sign your bad behavior. They'll always steer you in the direction of destruction. I never trust people like that. But she went out there and did it anyway.
It's a hole right there?
She said, Joe, I was with this.
This is that make it or break it, 10 years. Sometimes it happens earlier on, within the 1 to 3 years. But within the 6 to 8 years, it may linger on into the 10 years, but the decision was already made as soon as he said, you can be better than me, because that's the thought process. I want to grow and you're comfortable. That's when the decision was already made that she was gone. And that's going back to the 3 to 6 years where I was told if the problems are not corrected within that, it's just going to linger on into the next years of y'all marriage until it actually manifests the truth of the matter of why this was and why this isn't. And correcting it then so it's not like this. And because I can't play the whole, the video, the story is actually like 9 minutes long. So I'm gonna skip through. The point is, she ended up getting cancer sometime after her hot girl summer, and she was being a whore. Friends didn't help her. The guy that she had left her after 2 treatments, and she was all alone with no assistance to help her in her low times. He had already moved on, got married, and was about to have a family that he always wanted. This man that wasn't on her level moved on and found somebody, and she seen that the woman that he married was a career woman and gave him the family that he wanted. And according to this, seems as if it's happy for him. But for her, she's going to die alone. And the only person that helped her was him. The grass ain't greener. The goal of marriage is to age together and finding a friend in adversity, in prosperity and adversity, because they're one and the same. When you're good, things is good, but when you're bad, you're going to need the same level of help when things were good. And that's what a friend is supposed to be. A wife and a husband is supposed to be, and we have to agree together. She lied, and he became soft, and it destroyed the marriage. We can't let that be us. Sirach 25 and verse 3. And now I want the series of joy and joyfully on the clips, and I'm going to end it.
This is Sirach chapter 25, verse 3. If thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find anything in thine age?
If you didn't learn these lessons within those first 3 years of your marriage, how you think it's going to go for you? You wasn't listening 3 years ago. What you think the next 3 to 6 years is going to be of you not listening, and you're growing older in your habits and your attitude towards each other? Read.
Verse 4. Oh, how comely a thing is judgment for gray hairs.
At this age, you should be able to take advice and judgment, accountability. You should be able to withstand this. We often use this when it comes to judgment from the Lord, that it won't break your head. But it's the same thing in marriage. It's not going to kill your wife to correct her, to change her habits for the good of your relationship, for the benefit of your household. And the same thing for the wife. Sometimes your right wife and how you're saying it is wrong. Learn how to say it right with grace and femininity to correct your husband to grow your household. Learn how to build it instead of destroy it. Read.
And for ancient men to know counsel.
And it's up to the ancient men to know counsel, to give counsel to these younger marriages so they can grow and thrive. Read.
Oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men.
It's good for us to learn from our elders. See their mistakes, hear the stories that they give, the experience that they have, so we either don't make those mistakes or learn how to fix what we're already in. Read.
And understanding and counsel to men of honor. Much experience is the crown of old men.
You got to have it in your head like, that man know what he's talking about. I see his actions match his words, and and it shows in how he directs his household. I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to do it. I may not like it. I may not like the argument that's going to come with me doing it, but I'm going to stand on it because I see that it worked for him. And I see how much he's grown from grooming his household the way that he groomed it. I got to have a piece of it. I got to pray for that spirit to guide your house, because sometimes we do get weak as men. Sometimes we go into a depression. Sometimes we get into a dark place, and the wife is the first defense of seeing those things to find that aid and help to bring him back to full strength or drag him way down into the pits so she can rule and conquer him. Read.
And the fear of God is their glory.
Ephesians 5 and 16. Give me the first video of joy.
My boyfriend loves my cooking.
I pulled this because obviously she's joking. She played too much. But you see the dynamic of their relationship just from that little skit, that she played too much. And he may not have known that it was a joke then, but then she played it back because she know how to make him happy, obviously. But cooking like that, it's like, you play too much. Come on, man, stop playing. I'm not playing. Sometimes marriages be like that. You got to find the joy and humor in your marriage. You got to find things that work for your marriage to keep it happy. Because on the flip side, and you see the type of plate that she brought it on, the presentation, it is obviously a joke. But for me and my household, sometimes this stuff it's funny to me. I like the dynamics that me and my wife has. And you got to build that type of happiness within yourselves. I'm not talking about like that, but it's just a cheesy example of the joys that you can have with your wife. Things of that nature. The jesting, sparring. The playful sparring that you have with your wife. You got to have that in your marriage. Give me the next one.
My chef husband a break. Breakfast.
What, you gonna take one? It ain't even toasted.
Christy, what are you doing?
Lunch.
Why are you putting that in?
Christy, why are you? Christy, what are you, a cow?
Dinner.
Christy, that's not cool. What?
Christy, what are you?
Dessert.
So again, this is funny to me because he obviously does most of the cooking in the house. It's his profession, and he probably loves cooking for her. And she probably can cook, but not like he cooks. And that's probably the dynamics of their relationship, is that he primarily cooks. I don't cook for my household. My wife is the primary cook in the house. So she made a joke because she's less of a cook. The irony is she feels less of a woman, that she can't cook for her husband like he can cook for her, because that's the natural role. But she made a joke out of it, and it's funny to him. That's living joyfully with your wife, to find humor like that. You got to build things in your marriage that makes the both of y'all happy, because it's a balance. There's going to be things that you probably should be able to do that you can't, and she can do it. Like me, don't ask me to fix anything. I'm not a handyman. I'm going to have to call for some help. My wife, she like to do certain things that she put together. No, don't ask me to help you because I'm going to mess it up. I cannot destroy something and put it back together. That is not my expertise. I need instructions from A to B, and I can put it together. If you say, hey, cut this and put this back and make it, nope, that's not me. I can't do it. But my point is, find joy, happy moments in your marriage to make each other happy. Because it's a lot going on around you to where that happiness can be taken. Like how she brought that pizza. That's a real argument in some people's house. Those two examples are real arguments in people's houses because the man gets a here nigga plate. This is being fed like a toddler. Being fed like they're less than a man. Read Ephesians 5:16. And I'm gonna give y'all a little secret. I had to get counsel on my marriage because it got to a certain point to where it's just, I didn't know how to manage it. And this scripture right here, it hit for me. It made so much difference, and the ripple effect that it had on my marriage, it just changed everything. Read.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 16. Redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
There's a lot of people going through real problems in their marriages that seems unrepairable. So I examine my life. Me and my wife, we're not on drugs, we're not alcoholics, we're not addicts, we're not committing adultery on one another. We're just having little spats and arguments and disagreements, fighting over our roles, going through little problems. And when he read this, it just made so much sense. Find happiness with each other because there's so much work to do. I got to go to work. I get home and I got to get ready to go to work. And it's just so much time lost in between us trying to maintain the household so we can live and survive, to where we get home and we just want to argue. That is a miserable life. It depresses you. It makes you sink. You go from this to this guy. She go to beautiful to, I just hate you talking to me. I hate being here. I just got to get away, to where sin enters in. Read it again.
Redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
So make the time that y'all have precious. Don't spend it arguing and hating each other and becoming each other's enemies when y'all supposed to be friends, married, lifelong partners in this fight against oppression and hell. Give me the next one. On joyful.
Is truly in love, he will act like a child. But when a girl is truly in love, she will act like a mother.
We got to grow up. That's the ultimate thing. We all have to grow up. When a man is in love, he's going to be genuinely happy, and you're going to see it in his actions and attributes towards you, the wife, that he's happy with you, that he's content with the wife that God gave him and that he chose. And in return, she's going to show that same gratitude, love, and respect back to that man. That's the goal that we're all trying. That's the maturity, the emotional intelligence, as Titus 2 explains, that a man and a wife is supposed to be together. Give me Sirach 9 and 10. That was the last video, right? All right. Sirach chapter 9 and verse 10.
Sirach chapter 9 verse 10. Forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him.
So I'm pulling that because the first thing that we always want to do when there's problems is run and find a new spouse. The goal is not divorce. It's to the end, until death. It's always meant for us to reconcile in our friendships and not create enemies within our brotherhood, with our neighbors. Read.
A new friend is as new wine. When it is old, thou shalt drink it with pleasure. Envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end.
So, go to Ecclesiastes 9 and 9. One more scripture after this, and I'm going to close it out. Ecclesiastes 9 and 9.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 9. Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest.
Learn how to live joyfully. Get the counsel, the advice, the experience. Surround yourself with people that have mastered and still growing in building a family. Read.
Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun. All the days of thy vanity, for that is thy portion.
That's your portion. That's what you were given in this life. And what you feed into that portion is what you're going to get out of that portion. So if you want to live joyfully, start correcting it within those first 3 years. And if you're beyond those 3 years, when you get up into the 3 and 10 plus, start over and fix all of those little problems. Forget those little problems. Move on and mature in your marriage so you can meet this goal. Read.
For that is thy portion in this life, in thy labor which thou takest under the sun.
Last scripture, Sirach 40 and 23.
Sirach chapter 40 and verse 23. A friend and a companion never meet amiss.
So a friend and a companion. This is brotherhood. This is sisterhood. This is the body, the relationship that you have with the body. When you form a friendship within the body, read it again.
A friend and a companion never meet amiss.
Read.
But above both is a wife with her husband.
But above that friendship is the friendship and a love between husband and wife. Don't ever forget it. This is the backbone of our society. Our society is messed up because of many different broken homes and the types of ailments that came with these broken homes. IUIC is here to fix it. And with that, shalom. Well, let me not close it out with that. The commandments of God using IUIC is here to fix it. If you keep these commandments, it will be fixed. If you don't, it won't. Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
What is the nation? Nation is men leading by example. Role